What I'd like to talk about are the 3 things that you must be ready for when you go in for an interview. When people say, are you prepared for the interview? Most people say, yes, of course I am. I've done all the research online, I've gotten their annual report, etc. When was the last time you were in an interview when you were asked what last year's gross income was of the company? You weren't. You need to find out more specifics about yourself. And what I mean by that is the following. Here are the 3 things you need. First, you must put yourself in the mind and the shoes and the brain and everything else of the person you're interviewing with. That means anticipating everything they might ask you. I want you to think to yourself, if you were that hiring manager, what would you look for? What are the fundamental skills? What are the things that you really want to see that individual having in their background for you to want to hire them? Now keep in mind, this manager is likely not going to want to hire the smartest person because they don't want that person breathing down their neck. They won't hire the prettiest, the tallest, the slimmest, the this, the that. They're going to hire the person they feel the most comfortable with in that role. So, with that said, take a piece of paper and a pen and write down all the things you would look for if you were that manager, if you were looking to hire somebody. Now that manager is likely going to look to interview 4, 5, 6 people. So out of those 6 people, what do you think is going to be the most important to that person? Whether it's the fundamental skills, the personality, and just the way they get along with everybody. Okay. Secondly, you must anticipate what that person's going to ask you from your resume, but not just all the good, but also the bad. For example, they will likely ask you, why are you looking to leave your company to come here? Or they may ask you, why did you leave the previous company to go to that company? Or they may say, why did you choose to leave college after 2 years, etc. I want you to look at your resume and be extremely difficult on yourself and think to yourself, if you had to put yourself on the defensive, what would you ask? So, with that said, make a list of all the questions you would ask your resume and yourself to put yourself on the defensive. Okay? And then I want you to handwrite the answers, because when you handwrite your answers, you're not going to go on and on and on about how your grandmother helped you cross the road, etc. And third, and perhaps most important, when they ask you, do you have any questions? Please ask a question or 2 outside the interview box. For example, if you're interviewing for a banking role, maybe take a look online and find some questions that are more directly involving that person's institution, where they are, and say, hey, I read something about how Europeans are looking to invest more in commodities. How is that going to impact your firm and your group specifically, and where do you see that heading? Make sure you always follow it up with the question, where do you see that heading? What do you see that doing? Ask their opinion. People love to give opinions. And at the end of the day, the more they do the talking and the more they show off their knowledge to you, the more they're going to be interested in hiring you. Less is more, especially in the interview. Thanks again, and stay on this website to look for more interesting tips. Thank you.